Today we will build together a really cool project, an authentication logic for Flask, including Google Signup and Google Login. So what is authentication? Authentication is basically something you need in each and every multi-tenant app. So if you want your users to sign up and log into your app, you will need authentication. Basically, you will have two main routes in authentication. You will have the sign up for first-time user, and you will have the login. You can have a sign up login either via a simple method like username, email, password. So let's write this here: username, email, password. Or you can also have a third-party authentication like Google or like Facebook or GitHub, for instance. And today we will focus on this provider, Google, for Google Signup and Login. When you have authentication, you also need to give to your users a way to reset their password if they forgot their password. So we will also build a few routes to do this in this Flask web app. I created my authentication logic on the AI Jingle Maker using exactly the same method as the one that I will demo today, and all the code that I will share with you today will be available for free on GitHub. So you will be able to clone this repository and to use it in your own projects. You will only have to build your own app behind the authentication. So let's dive in and see what we have. First of all, let me share with you a few of the services that are used in the code that I will share with you. To deploy my apps, I'm using Railway, a service which you can find on railway.app. It's very easy to use, very user-friendly. You can deploy your code from GitHub. I'm using Brevo, formerly known as Sendinblue, to send my email notifications, my transactional emails. So in the code, you will have the logic for Brevo, but you can replace it with your own provider, like Mailgun or Amazon SES, for instance. And we will be using Google Cloud for the Google authentication. I will show you in a moment how you have to create your credentials and how you have to use them in the code. I must tell you that I created this authentication logic in two steps. First, I created it only for username, email, and password, and then I added the Google logic this morning. And what I did was just start a chat with my friend ChatGPT, and I pasted all the code that I already had for the basic authentication with username, email, and password. And I asked ChatGPT to give me the extra code needed to make this work with Google, with Google Signup and Google Login. There was a little bit of back and forth. I will show you where I had some bottlenecks in the code when I'm sharing the code in a moment. But in the end, it worked, and we managed to finalize this project, including Google authentication. So if I go here, you can see the sign up page, and you see the sign up button, sign up with Google. And if I go to login, I have already logged in with Google. And previously, I only had email, password, and for the sign up, username, email, and password. So let's review the code. As you can see, we have the typical structure of a Flask web app with main.py, with another file called emails.py, where we have all the logic to connect to Sendinblue, Brevo. So if you have to replace this by another provider, you will probably replace this section of the code and also the secret key that you have in the environment file. I won't open the .env file because it's full of secret keys, and those secret keys are not shared on GitHub. So you will have to populate your own .env file to make this code work on your computer. There won't be any .env file on GitHub. It's ignored when the code is pushed to GitHub. So each time you see os.environ.get and something between parentheses, it's a key that you have to set to populate in your .env file. You have that here also in the main file. As you can see, we have the secret key and the security password salt, which we use to create, to hash the passwords when they are created in the authentication. We also have here the Google client ID, the Google secret ID. Those are the keys that you have to populate in your own .env file, which you find here in the sidebar. You also see two files that are in the same color as the .env file, cert.pem and key.pem. They were generated with a method that I describe in the README file of the GitHub repo to have a secure connection in development, which is required by Google if you want to test the Google login and the Google signup. So you won't have the key.pem, the cert.pem, and the .env in the GitHub repo. You have to generate those files on your own and add them to your code when you run the code. You will have the requirements.txt file with all the packages, the libraries that you have to install if you want to use this code. And now we will review each of the Python files so that you see what you have here under the hood to make this work. The first part of the code is what we have to add here to establish the connection with Google and to make the logic, the login and the sign up logic work with Google. So this code was part of the last step that I implemented earlier today with ChatGPT. This code was given to me to ChatGPT. I was talking about the bottlenecks. There were some issues here with the URL prefix. That was a bit buggy in the first proposal of ChatGPT. So you have to use exactly what you will have in the file here. The same for the redirect URL here, Google_login. Then you have here all the logic for the connection to the MySQL database that I'm using on Railway.app, the service that I introduced at the beginning of the video. If you're using another database provider, another type of database, or if you're using a local database for your tests, you can also replace this section by the code that you will implement on your own. You can be helped by ChatGPT. Here you have also the code that's required to establish the connections with the database. And then we have all the code that we use for the login. So we have the login manager here. We have also the route for the sign up. So this route is taking care of all the logic of the sign up in the authentication boilerplate. So when we receive the data from the form in the front end for the sign up, it's treated as a post request. We take the username, the email, and the password. Then if the user already exists, we won't sign them up twice. But if the user doesn't exist, then we will insert all the data here in the database. So that's the way we execute the query in the MySQL database. We will insert something for username, email, password, also a role ID. That's just optional, but that's if you want to define different roles for your users. And then we have here all those placeholders, and we have the variables that will be passed to the MySQL database. So the actual username that we retrieve from the sign-up form, the email, the password, and here we will also give a role ID of 2, which in my example is the role ID for a simple user. Here we will create a link which will be sent via an email to the user so that they can confirm their email. It's a double opt-in. So we generate a special link here which will be sent via email using this function, send mail verification. It's one of the email functions that you can find in the emails.py file. Here you see another one which is the welcome email, but if I go here, you see the password reset, and you see here the mail verification. So we send this email to the user so that they can confirm their email. When they will confirm their email, we have another route a bit further here, which is probably called confirm email. Yes, indeed. Via this route, confirm email and the token that was generated, we will confirm that the email is correct. And then we update one of the elements in the MySQL database, which is the column email confirm. We set it to true. So in the database, in the table, we will have 1 instead of nothing, confirming that the email was confirmed. And after confirming the email, we send the welcome email to the user. And you could have also a sequence of emails, a drip sequence of a few emails sent over the course of a few days to the user. That's where you would implement this logic. So we send the welcome email. As I told you, we also have a logic for the password reset. So we have a page, request underscore reset, where the user can enter their email and they will receive via email a link to reset their password. We also have a route here where the user can request to get a new email for the email verification if they didn't receive the first email, or if it landed in their spam box and they emptied their spam box and they want a new verification link. There is another page which is called resend underscore verification, where they can request this verification email. If we go back to the app that I showed you, if I move my face there, you can see here that on the login page, we have 2 links at the bottom. We have one link here if you forgot your password, to reset your password. So you will put your email there and it will reset your password. And you also have a link here if you didn't get the verification email. You can click here and you can enter your email and it will resend you the verification email. So it's pretty sophisticated. It's not just sign up login. You also have all the logic for the email verification, for the password reset, and also for the verification link reminder. So 3 different options, features on top of the typical sign up login flow. And at the end of our main.py file, we have this route which was created earlier today in partnership with ChatGPT to handle the Google login. So when the user comes back from Google after selecting their email, they will land in this route. And in this route, we will check whether they are already part of the database or not. And if they are not, we will also execute a query where we will insert them into the table, into the users table, with the username, which will be their name for Google, their email, their Google ID. It's an ID which is passed by Google, and also the role ID. So same concept as we had earlier. So in the same table of the same database, you have a mix of users who can sign up and log in via email and password, and users who can log in and sign up via Google. Let me show you first how you can log in with Google and then log out. So I will just click here on login with Google. I've grayed out here my emails, but I choose one of the emails which was mentioned as a developer email for the test. And then it will reload the page and it will just log me in the same way as if I had used email and password. So this is the app, and this is where you will have to create your own app because there is nothing behind the authentication. It's a playground for you to be creative. And if you want to have some inspiration, you can click on the link here and go and see what I created on the AI Jingle Maker. Let me show you the pages that you have in templates. So in templates, you have all the HTML pages that are used in the app. The sign up page, so this is the HTML page for the sign up, and as you can see, you have a section dedicated here to Google with this very specific method to log in via Google that you have to respect to make this work. That's the structure of the link. You have exactly the same on the login page, as you can see here on the login page, and you have all the typical fields that are expected in the login and in the sign up page. So you can see here the email and the password. But as I told you, there are plenty of other pages. There is here the page to reset your password. You have a page to resend the verification email. You have a page to request the reset of your password. You have also the page that opens when you check the email in your inbox for the double opt-in. You have the app page. You don't have much on the app page. You have everything to build there, but the app is already there. The admin page also, which is pretty empty, but you can build your admin there. The 404 page for all the errors if you type something that's not recognized. So if I go here and if I type, let's say /mmm or something that's not recognized, you see page not found. So that's what you have here in the 404.html template. And you have here what we call the base.html template. Basically, all the main components, the metadata, and the main styling elements are declared in this base.html file. And then what we do for most of the other files, we just extend this base.html. So the head section of all those pages is always taken from base.html, and then we build the body here for those specific pages. So for the app page, for the check email page, sign up page, etc., etc. But the basic building block for all the templates is base.html. In the static folder, you have the images that we use in the app, like the ones that you saw on the home page and also on the app page. You have the featured image, which you will get if you share this app on social media. You've got the little Google logo that we use to build the button for the login and the sign up with Google. You also have the CSS files for all the styling, and you have the JavaScript files because we need some JavaScript for all of this. You have one for the index page. There isn't much there. It's just the JavaScript for the cookie disclaimer that you maybe saw in the beginning. And then for app.js, it's empty at the moment because there are absolutely no interactive logic on the app page. You can build everything here yourself. Could be built also using another technique than vanilla JavaScript. I have also added a very cool add-on to this boilerplate, this obfuscator.py file. What it enables you to do is to obfuscate your code, your JavaScript code, so you won't share all your JavaScript code in clear with the visitors of your application. The way you use this obfuscator.py file is you just type in the name of the file that you want to obfuscate. So I think we have two JavaScript files. We have app.js and index.js. So for instance, app.js here, and then I just run it, and as you can see, it became app.obs.js. And if we look at the app.html page, let's make this a bit bigger. you will see in the end of the file, or here at the end of the body, that we link to app.obs.js and not to app.js. And that's the same at the end of the index.html. So if I go, yes, there you can see that I link to index.obs.js. And what I do usually is that I don't push the app.js to GitHub and the index.js to GitHub and then to Railway. I just push the obfuscated versions of the files because those are the ones that are used by the final application. I still have to show you the basics of the process to create your credentials on the Google Cloud Console, because you will need those credentials, as you saw at the beginning of the main.py file, to declare the Google Client ID and the Google Client Secret. So you will need both of those. The way you do it is very simple. You just go to the Google Cloud Console, you create a new project, then you go to the API section, and you go to credentials, and you will have to create new credentials. You will have to create OAuth Client ID credentials. So here you will pick web application for the app, you give a name to your app, and the very important part is that you will have to type in the redirect URI that will be used by the app. And in the documentation of this project, I give the URL that has to be typed in there. So if I go here to my documentation, you can see here that this is the one that you have to use locally, at least, for this URI. It won't work if you don't type in this URL, and if you are in production mode, you will have to use the domain of the final application, which will be deployed on the server, because this is this URL ending with 5000 is a local server URL. That's what you have here in the browser, as you can see. It's not a problem if you have this red warning in the browser. We have installed everything that was needed for the local support of OpenSSL. Again, you will have to do it on your own for Mac or for Windows by creating two files, cert.pem and key.pem. All the explanations are in the README file of the repository to do it. Otherwise, you will get an error in Python telling you that you don't have SSL support for the app. So that's basically it. It's quite easy to implement this boilerplate on your own. If you have any questions regarding the implementation, if you have any questions regarding the opportunity to start learning to code with AI or to start to code with an AI assistant, don't hesitate to post your questions in the comments below. I will do my best to answer those questions in due time. And if you're interested in the topic of AI-assisted coding, subscribe to my free newsletter on aicodingclub.com, aicodingclub.com, and obviously subscribe to this channel and hit the like button to help the YouTube algorithm. Thanks very much for watching. I see you in the next video.